just excited to be back at this conference where it all started.
Yep.
And I just want to kind of transition this into pilots and becoming educated in the space. Obviously this Passive Income Pilots podcast is where we want to help educate pilots.
Hey, welcome back to Passive Income Pilots, everyone. Tait here with my co-host Ryan Gibson. How you doing?
I'm doing great. It was really fun seeing you at the Best Ever Conference this year, as always, where we met and networking, and it was a really efficient use of my time getting to catch up with like everybody that I know in the industry in one spot. So I had a lot of fun.
Exactly. It was the 5th year anniversary of us meeting. We talk about that in the show, but we just wanted to sort of intro this because if you didn't see any of it on social media, it's where Ryan and I sort of promoted the launch of the podcast. And one of the things we did to celebrate was we jumped up on stage and we recorded a live podcast recording where we just sort of like talk about how we met and conferences in general. So if you're wondering why the audio is so bad, it's because we were in the middle of a super busy ballroom recording it live. If you go to our YouTube channel, you see the video from a gimbal that I just stuck in front of us. But in any case, it was a great conversation. I think it's worth, if you're interested in hearing about Ryan and my history, our respective companies, and how we met and how our friendship developed. It's a great show.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Coming to you live from the T-Rock Contracting Podcast stage at Best Ever Conference in Salt Lake City. What's up, Ryan?
Tait, it's a pleasure to be here once again.
Nice to see you in person.
Likewise.
Having a blast. We're I think this is the 5th anniversary of when we met at this exact conference back in 2018.
2018.
So this is kind of cosmic. I wanted to share the story because this was a key ingredient in my transition from active investing to passive investing. I've been a real estate investor since I was in my early 20s, but I, fumbled my way through single-family homes and then some condos, some small multifamily, and I really wanted to level up. And so I pulled the trigger. I found this Best Ever Conference, which is, for anybody that doesn't know, I know it's kind of a funny name if you've never heard of the Joe Fairless brand, but Joe Fairless is a syndicator, multifamily operator out of Florida, right?
He's out of Cincinnati, but they do a lot of investment.
They
do a lot of investing in Florida, Dallas, Carolinas.
Right.
Yeah,
so
Georgia.
he made his name through his podcast. It's a daily real estate podcast called the Best Ever Real Estate Podcast. Hence the name of the conference here. So anyway, back in 2018, I decided to go out on a limb. I booked a ticket. I flew here. We're in Salt Lake this year, but that year was in Denver. Went by myself, knew absolutely nobody, and my intention there was to build my network and meet other real estate investors and just grow my network so that I could continue buying bigger and bigger multifamily projects. But instead, I got thrown a curveball. Somebody said, "Hey, there's another pilot here. You got to meet him, Ryan Gibson. He's over at the Spartan booth." And so we said hello and kicked off this friendship.
Yeah, and I think what was really interesting was that you said that you were all active, so you were doing all single families and condos. So you felt the only way to invest in real estate directly was to just do everything yourself.
Which is exactly why I was there. I was trying to find more of a network, and so I could continue investing actively. But I didn't even know that you could invest passively.
Yeah.
I sat, met you, and you were like, "Yeah, you can." We're in storage. You can invest in our projects. I sat in the ballroom and I listened to Jeremy Roll and Hunter Thompson debate active versus passive investing. And I was like, I didn't even know you could invest passively.
Yeah.
So that completely changed the course of my investing career. As a well-paid airline pilot, I said, shoot, why am I out here doing this myself when I can just be a passenger on a professionally flown aircraft with people who are, have teams and incredible experience and incredible connections. If you can ride their coattails and the investors take most of the profits, it's an incredible thing.
Yeah, and I think you really laid that out nicely, and we represent this really nicely because my desire was to do this actively.
Right.
My desire was to build a company, hire employees, find property, manage property, construct property, and be the active operator. And that's not for everybody.
Right.
And,
well,
yeah.
It's a huge undertaking. I think this might be a good opportunity for you to talk about your company.
Yeah, so we started in 2013, technically, in Washington, D.C. We started off with building townhouses and converting condos and building houses, and quickly kind of didn't like that, and we wanted to find an asset class that was easy to own, easy to maintain, and easy to evict. So we pivoted the company into self-storage, and then we grew a big self-storage platform with over 4 million square feet, 30,000 units across 11 states. And Tait, when you met me at Best Ever Conference in 2018, I think we were on our third self-storage facility ever.
That's right. I invested in it.
Yeah, you did. And how has it gone? It's gone pretty well.
It's gone very well.
Yeah, it's gone very well. I think we've had double-digit cash flow distributions. We've returned half the equity or so.
Yep.
And it's, and I think it was great to connect so well on a first deal because it went so well, and that kind of whetted your appetite for passive investing. And then I think what's really neat is, you could have took the approach of, I don't want to be an active investor, but I still kind of think that you're sort of the in-between, right? Because you're not quite active, but you're also pretty active in passive investing.
I am.
And so I would even say there's, even a third tier here that we're not talking about, who is somebody who literally just invests as an LP. You do a little bit more than that. You actually kind of vet operators.
I do.
And you find the best opportunities in the marketplace in this non-traded private space of alternative investing where the ultra high net worth people invest.
Right.
And you sort of bring the best investments to your investors, and then you participate in some of the, the upside of that. So I think that's a really cool service, and makes it really relatable to pilots, you being, part of Hawaiian Airlines and a captain there. So I think that's really neat as well, and just excited to be back at this conference where it all started.
Yep.
And I just want to kind of transition this into pilots and becoming educated in the space. Obviously this Passive Income Pilots podcast is where we want to help educate pilots. But this conference is a great example of how do I just learn about the environment. And the Best Ever has been a great resource for this. I've been to this conference every year since 2017, and every year I come back and people are like, wow, what brings you back? And it's like, this is like a big marketplace for everything non-institutional investor.
Yep.
And I think what's great is it brings all the good operators together, so you can kind of meet everybody. And if you're looking to be passive or looking to be active or looking to get into it, or you just want to learn, it's a great show. It's a great conference. Really.
And I think it's very important to distinguish between seminars and conferences. A lot of people think, you're going to see some guru, give you their system. No, a seminar is, where there's basically a pitch.
Right.
It's one person giving you their pitch, and you're paying to be there.
And it's run to the back of the room, one-time offer, get out your credit card. We're not talking about that.
No, conferences are very, very different. This is a meeting of minds. There's a massive amount of wealth under this roof. People who are active, people who are passive. It's a marketplace, like you said, where passive investors are looking for excellent operators to invest with. And it's a great meeting of minds.
Yeah, one of the speakers here, actually, this, for those pilots familiar, this is actually the crew hotel that we're at.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. Yeah, so I think Delta stays here. I saw the JetBlue pilots walk in when I was downstairs.
Oh, that's funny.
I think I saw United at some point, but this is the Hyatt downtown in Salt Lake, and the fun thing about that is we actually had the developer of this hotel spoke at this conference, because this hotel is brand new, and this is a $365 million project cost hotel.
It's beautiful.
And it's beautiful, yeah, and it's a really good, so much so that it's a great layover for crews.
Right.
So, so I think that's what's unique too, is being a pilot, we find ourselves in different cities and overnights and layovers, and there's a lot of great opportunities to connect with real estate investors around the country. So for those ever in Seattle or ever in Hawaii, you can connect with Tait or I, and we can take you to a property or kind of meet with you for coffee. And obviously, we don't have any properties in Hawaii, I don't think.
No, we don't invest in Hawaii, but
yeah,
that's all right.
Maybe you should do that.
So maybe.
Yeah. But what other conferences do you like going to?
I really liked. I've always liked IIREC, which is the Intelligent Investors Real Estate Conference. That has been traditionally in LA, but they did an adjunct event here. I didn't get to attend it on Tuesday, but they sort of joined forces with BEC this year. Which other ones do you like?
Yeah, I think anybody who's thinking about getting into real estate, I think the Bigger Pockets is a great place.
I think Bigger Pockets definitely is not. They do have the conference, right?
Yeah, but it's a little bit. I think the conference is more like I want to fix and flip, or I want to be a rental property owner.
Yeah.
I don't know. It doesn't really bring that level of sophistication, I think, for CRE.
For sure.
But still,
real estate.
Yeah, but still a really good event. And obviously, the Bigger Pockets Forum is like the place to go for information. So really good event. Yeah.
If you want to learn how to buy investment properties on your own, go to biggerpockets.com. It's a forum. It's a podcast. It's an excellent podcast. I cut my teeth on that podcast years and years ago. It's an amazing resource.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, and I think as an operator, I'm a very active investor now, and so what do I get out of this conference? The most I get out of this conference is I actually walk the halls most of the time, and I go up to other operators, my competitors, and we collaborate.
Yep.
And I say, what are you working on? What are you seeing? What are you doing? Because I want to make my business better, and likewise, they usually have a few questions for me.
Right.
And that's what I love about it. What do you get out of it now as a capital raiser for funds?
Well, and just to back up, I do want to touch on how I started my business as well.
Sure.
But in terms of collaboration, it's one of the most amazing things about the real estate industry is how, even though everyone is a pseudo competitor, it's one of the most collaborative environments. People are so generous with time, knowledge. They're willing to, maybe not open up the books and give you like trade, their secret sauce, right? But people, it's such a wide industry that people are really, really collaborative and helpful. The genesis of Turbine Capital, which is my company, where we raise money primarily from airline pilots and other aviation professionals to invest in real estate. That genesis came from meeting Peter Kim, Vikram, and some other doctor groups, physician groups, during my first BEC 5 years ago. I'm looking around going, hey, there's all these physicians that are pooling capital. That's really cool. I'm going to go start a pilot group. Because it didn't exist.
Yeah. So hold on. I know I want to get to your genesis more, but I think that's really important because as pilots, we're high income earners, professionals, and there was nothing out there for us in this space. And all the other doctors out there, they have groups.
Lots of them.
Yeah, the white coat investor,
passive income MD.
Yep. Limitless MD.
Yep.
With Vikram. So doctors are banding together and boiling up to the surface the best people in the industry.
Yep.
So that investors can make that are slated in the in the physician field to make the best decisions. And I think that's and that's what we want to do. And no one's doing it for pilots.
Right.
This is unbiased. It's we only want to bring on the best people. We only want to put you in front of them and provide education. And I think that's kind of the goal of this.
And I likely would not have started my company if there was something out there that I could have just jumped into. It was a gap in the market. It was a need that pilots need to do something with all this money that we're making, right? And
instead of buy airplanes.
And Raptor, Ford Raptors and boats and all that fun stuff.
Well, actually, to that point, we can teach you how to generate passive income that can pay for those things, right?
Yeah, your income should buy your investment assets, and then your investment assets buys all the fun toys.
Exactly, and then you can have more fun toys if that's what you desire. So we're not slated that. But let's get 100%. Back to your genesis.
Yeah. Again, it was kind of a blue ocean. I had every intention of going and finding a pilot group that I could join, and where just like there were other physicians, there were other pilots in the room that were getting smart in terms of the deals that they're investing in. It didn't exist, and so I decided to create it. So sat on the idea for about a year and decided, this is something that really needs to happen. And so Turbine Capital was born about 3 years ago. Essentially, we aggregate capital from other airline pilots and other military pilots.
Yeah.
And we have about 100 people on our list that are not in the aviation field. We have doctors, business owners, et cetera. So we're certainly not limited to pilots, but that's sort of our demographic. We have a very high capacity for due diligence because now that we have the economies of scale, that we're pooling capital together and investing as a group in operators like yourself. We've also invested with mobile home park operators, multifamily operators. We're doing an industrial development deal that's coming up. Because we have the economy of scale where we're investing millions and millions of dollars collectively, that improves our fundamentals, our economic returns, and that's how we can offer the same or better returns to our investors than they would get going direct to sponsor. Yeah, we can do a ton of due diligence and put additional eyes on the deals.
Yeah, and I think what's so important, the value that your group provides is you're going out and you're going out to all these conferences and finding all these operators and you're aggregating them all together, and you're providing like a suite of options within this alternative space, mobile home parks, like you said, multifamily, self-storage, and then you're getting the pilots like a better promote, a better carry in the deal than otherwise they would get going directly to an operator. But more importantly, you've done the due diligence on these operators to make sure that they're well vetted.
Exactly.
I'd say the only difference between, major difference between what you do and what I do is I have a company that is the operator. Right? So you found an operator like myself, and we're not focused on a bunch of things. We're focused on self-storage.
And that's the beauty of investing passively is you get to diversify across multiple operators, right? Yep. And you have operators like Ryan who are really, really, really good at one thing. If you want to go and invest in a storage property, good luck. You're competing with this guy. You're going to get the scraps that are left over that they've already looked at and turned down.
Yeah, and more importantly, I mean, obviously there's pilots out there who have been successful with self-storage. I know several of them. Actually, one of the guys lives in Salt Lake here. But do you want to do that? Right. Do you want to go find the deals and finance them? And you may want to, and that may be what you desire, or you just may say, hey, I just want to be passive. I want to have a piece of this growing industry, but I don't want to do it myself. And I think that's really important is, in your journey of deciding what kind of investor you want to be, you got to decide if I want to be active or I want to be passive. Right. And, I have tons of conversations with the pilots that invest with us about, I had a rental property and there was a person murdered in it, and then we had to deal with it, right? And they're just like, I'm done doing this thing, and I don't want to have this headache anymore. And I've even talked to pilots where it's like, they're flipping houses and everything, and I'm like, man, for the amount of money that you're making and the amount of time you're spending doing this, you could pick up a premium pay trip and make more than what you probably make all year.
Exactly. Yeah, you just pick up a double time trip, and you can make the exact same amount of money and then invest that double time money into a passive deal, right? Yeah, you said a couple things there, carry and promote, and I just want to sort of briefly touch on those and explain sort of how this works. The beauty of investing in this is called syndication investing. So real estate syndication is where an operator like Ryan and Spartan Investment Group, you would be the general partner. You find the deal, a bunch of investors invest money in it. They're the limited partners or LPs, and the beauty is that the incentives are aligned, where Ryan doesn't make money unless the investors are making money.
Correct.
Right? So
after the investors make money.
After the investors make money. Right.
Yeah.
So typically there's a preferred return, which means that it's 100-0 split, essentially, where 100% of the proceeds are going to the investors until they've made a certain level of return on their investment. And then, only after which that preferred return has been met, there is a split of 60-40, 70-30, 80-20, whatever it is, where the investors are usually taking the larger portion of that.
Yeah, and that's called the carry.
That's the carry.
Yeah, that's the carried interest or the ownership
or the promote.
split. Yeah, or the promote, exactly.
Exactly. So hey, Ben.
Hey. Ben started the... Hey, Ben, can we... Oh no, we'll get him later.
We lost him.
Yeah, but Ben Lapidus is the founder of the Best Ever Conference, and just happens to be my business partner.
Yes.
So Ben, not to switch gears, but Ben, really was passionate about bringing together the whole community, and that's kind of the genesis of this conference. And he just said woo, and we just wanted to get him up here for a minute, but that's not going to happen. But anyway, so
yeah, 1,000 plus people here. It's amazing.
Yeah, but back on topic, so you might get a better carry or a better split.
So if I invested $50,000 in your deal, I might get a 70-30. But if I invest $2 million in your deal, I might get an 80-20, right? So we as a group, not only with Turbine, we're able to pool money together, do a ton of due diligence on one of Ryan's deals and say, yeah, we really like this deal, we don't like that deal all that much. We can cherry pick from Ryan and 100 other operators, run it through our due diligence process, pick the best deals, and then say, we bring those to our investor group. And since we're aggregating millions of dollars of funds, we would get a larger split, and that's how my company can make money without hurting our investors' returns. Yep,
exactly. And I think that's what's so great. And what's so beneficial to us is that capital is one check. Right. So as an operator, we might be getting $1 or $2 million from Turbine, and we like that because it's one investor per se, and instead of getting $40 or $50,000 investors, I mean, we still happily accept that.
Right.
But that's kind of the benefit, and that's why you get more. I mean, you're buying in bulk basically, right? And getting that better discount. So.
Definitely encourage people to get on Ryan's list. Spartan-investors.com. If you want to get on our list as well, it's turbinecap.com.
Yeah, we send out my company sends out a magazine every month. So if you want to read about investing insights, you want to read about self-storage, you want to read about office or any other asset class, our magazine is all about the industry. It brings on people who, like other parts of the industry, sponsors, and we have CPAs write about tax benefits and things like that. So if you want to get on our mailer for that, you can fill out a form on our website, Spartan-investors.com, like Tait said. But jump on both of our lists. I mean, and you know what? Here's the thing. I have people that have been on my list for 5, 6, 7 years who have never pulled the trigger, and that's okay. There's no pressure. There's never any run to the back of the room, high pressure sales. And just see what we do. And then we encourage you to come to conferences like the Best Ever and find other people that are doing what we're doing in the space and check it out. And I think, I love alternative investing because it's something that is more direct and you get more benefits investing in hard real estate, like tax advantages.
And tax advantages are amazing.
Yeah, and
returns are typically higher.
Yeah, and we'll have guests on the show. We're going to bring in CPAs and tax attorneys. They're going to talk about those benefits. You're going to hear it directly from them. We can kind of regurgitate, but we want to hear it directly from the source. So,
Well, and again, the goal of this show is really just education, right? We're just encouraging the pilot community to build financial literacy. And I don't mean that in any sort of a derogatory way. I know that pilots are really smart, but, the education piece just isn't there. You don't learn this stuff in school. You come out of college with a bachelor's degree. Most people don't even know how to balance a checkbook.
Right.
And you figure it out along the way, but there are some really advanced tactics and strategies that we can do as high income earners to shelter that income from taxes, to make smarter investment decisions, and to build truly generational wealth. So we just want to provide that information and provide that education and the knowledge, the resources, the network, so that everybody can sort of rise together.
So just kind of closing remarks here. Check out the Best Ever conference next year. Next year, Passive Income Pilots is going to do a special event at the Best Ever conference.
Yes, we are.
And we're going to invite pilots, and we're going to have a pilot breakout next year. So next year, this is going to be in Salt Lake City. We're going to have an event here, and we do get a discount code. So if you're buying your tickets now, their tickets are probably going to go on sale next year. But you get a discount code. Email us, reach out to us, and we're going to have a special breakout educational session just for pilots, so we can all get together and maybe it might be on a layover. Maybe you can schedule your layover to be during the conference. I don't know, whatever you want to do, right? Or jump on a plane and fly out. So with that, we just wanted to thank you guys for listening, and we'll catch you on the next episode.
Excellent.
Thanks,
Ryan.